First of all, I would like to thank the organizers of this conference for inviting me. In particular, I'd like to thank the Honorable Erwin Kotler for the invitation. I also thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to this august assembly about the case of Rwanda. And within this, the framework of this conference about combating hate against Jews, hostility, and people who don't want the state of Israel to exist. Israel is a friend of Rwanda. As you know, anti-Semitism finds similar situations in the world due to personal hatred or a systematic ideological persecution. Let me talk to you about ethnic incitement to hatred in Rwanda, a situation which I saw since I escaped genocide myself, somebody who was in the country before, during, and after the genocide dating back to 1994. I will say that incitement to hatred in Rwanda by the state was a strategy of the two first republics. The First Republic, 1962 to 1973, and the second one, 1973 to 1994. Rwanda is essentially peopled by three communities, the Hutus, the Tutsis, and the Twa. During the pre-colonial period, colonization first by the Germans is 1897, and then Belgium, which in 1917 chased the Germans out and got a mandate by the United Nations to run the country. It was both a complex and well-evolved situation. There were some 18 clans in Rwanda based on family links. And there was already some definition of persons as Hutus and Tutsis rather than as groups. The distinction between Hutu and Tutsi was genealogy rather than ethnic. The line between the two groups was a moving one. You could move from one to the next, whether according to whether you became rich or poor, as well as through marriage. The Belgian settlers established permanent distinction in the beginning of the 1930s between three groups, the Hutus, the Tutsis, and the Twa. And they set up an ID card for each person in Rwanda mentioning their ethnic belonging. The mentioning of the ethnicity was kept even after the independence of Rwanda and was only abolished after the genocide. I would like to come back to incitement of hatred against the Tutsis. This incitement was noticed mainly through the speeches of two presidents, the speeches of political leaders in writing and in song. To be clear, in messages to the nation, the Tutsis were hit by all from all sides. They were described as foreigners coming from Ethiopia, an invader with evil intents, an arrogant and a cruel person by nature, a liar, an eternal enemy of the Hutu people, considered as like a plague, something horrible within the body, like a section. These were speeches made by the leaders. They were considered as a beetle that you should crush, a snake that you should kill without pity, and you should cut their heads. The population was also told that biologically speaking, they were distinct from the Hutus. They were evil and filled with bad intentions. And at present, there are still people saying the very same things. Just like his predecessor, the second president strengthened this policy of discrimination since 1973. As of 1990, after the attack of the Patriotic Front of Rwanda, made up of Tutsis who had left earlier and the regime did not let back into the country, the president at the time and several of his cronies, if you like, set up a strategy of incitement to hatred and fear of the Tutsis in order to reestablish the Hutu solidarity. With incitement to the extermination of Tutsis and their friends, there was also the military organization of political youth, the distribution of lists of people to be eliminated, and distribution of weapons to the civilians. And political and military personalities called the people to hatred and exhorted the Hutu majority to deal with the enemy and his accomplices once and for all. The perfect illustration is the speech of somebody who lives here in Canada, Léon Mugisera, in November 1992. Some recall that he was put on trial here. He told the population during meetings that Tutsis should go through the Nyaronga River, which is the source of the Nile, so that they can join their kin in Ethiopia. This was during meetings in November 1992. And I would like to thank Canadian Justice, which did study the matter thoroughly. On the 16th of April 1994, the aircraft carrying the president, amongst others, was shot down and before landing in Kigali.